Robert.
Hey,
Hey.
how are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little
Are you
little weak. But the burning's a lot better, which is great.
cool? What kind of week do you mean? Uh, if you could be as specific as possible, that'll be super helpful to see, if it's anything to be concerned about.
Sure. So it's nothing that bad. It's nothing debilitating. I have a slight headache. Um, Sort of feel dehydrated, which persisted when before I've been doing this fast. I tried drinking bottled water instead of just tap water from my college tap, and that's actually worked better. Um, I do feel a difference.
What bottled water, by the way?
It's just smart water.
Okay, just
Yeah.
wondering.
Other than that, other than the headache and just being a little bit weak, I feel okay.
Cool. So, what kind of headache? Like, could you explain where you feel it? Like,
Yeah,
is it in the back of the neck? Is it on the top of the head?
it's kind of in my temples,
Oh, okay.
and then yeah, in my head. It feels like someone's squeezing my head a little bit.
Okay. So as far as the headache, I don't have much experience to understand like that temple kind of sensation,
Hmm.
but that's fine. That's fine. As you know, I'll only talk about things that I can actually help you with.
Right.
So as far as the weakness that you're feeling, do you mean just from the headache, or are there other things like, you'll stand up and maybe you feel dizzy?
No, at the beginning of the
Good.
day, I didn't feel like that at all. It's just sort of getting a little bit gradually. I haven't felt dizzy or anything. It's just um,
Okay.
yeah, just a general weakness, but nothing like a dizziness.
And how about your tongue? Like when you touch your tongue, does it feel super dry or does it still feel pretty moist?
No, it's moist.
Okay. So, as far as, so what things is your body telling you that is making you feel dehydrated?
My lips look really dehydrated.
Oh, okay. All right. So visually, so like
Yeah.
what, what look do they have? Like
Uh,
cracking?
yeah, kind of like cracking a little bit, which has always surprised me because when I do look dehydrated, they don't have that look to them, but they looked cracked and like I have to reapply chapstick a lot, and which is strange from the amount of water I was drinking before.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense to me. And don't forget that we must remember that a lot of the times we really don't know what is going on with the body. For example, these might not even be symptoms of dehydration, but I'm pretty sure that's part of the answer. But just keep that in mind too. So keep your mind open to learn different things from your body or different communications other than what, assumptions you had in the past or what things you've already learned in the past.
Right.
So it sounds like to me, of course, there's a lot more information. Excuse me, with my throat. But it sounds like there's a lot more information to tell. But the general feel I get, which I would say is probably half true, is there's tons of more information that you have because your body has received that information, right?
Hmm.
What I'm getting is that you're probably feeling more of detox symptoms from not just from foods that are overly acidic or toxic, but as well from maybe some recent foods that are currently clearing out. Now, so if your tongue doesn't feel dry, I mean when you get pretty dehydrated, like I went 50 hours without any water or any liquids at all, and
Well,
my tongue wasn't dry or anything. But the first time I went 36 hours without water, the very first time, and the first time I went 24 hours without water, and the first time that many other people go 24 to 36 hours without water, their mouth is dry to the point where their tongue is sticking to the roof of their mouth, or or their cheeks are sticking to things. So I share that with you to let you know you've got a lot of room to go, really.
Okay.
You know, you're a young girl, and so because of that, your system is pretty sweet, you know, like a new car kind of a thing. It's functioning really well, and there's no reason why somebody with the amount of life force and energy that you have, there's no reason why their vehicle isn't working great, except for the fact that the fuel being put into it may be causing some problems here and there. And as well, notice that I'm focusing specifically on physical things rather than, you know, mental stressors. We can get to the mental stressors later, which I really honestly just have some basics down. I'm not an expert for that area. But for the physical part, you know, that'll be the rudimentary start for the physical body. Perhaps that's 33% of the equation, but I speculate with that. So good. So today, I'll be flat out honest with you. You could continue to not eat for another 24 hours. I'm not going to recommend that, but let your heart be the recommender. Let your heart and listening to your body be the real one to recommend that. At the moment, do you feel hungry? Like, damn, I'd really like to eat something. At the moment, do you feel hungry?
I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that one more time?
Sure. At the moment, do you feel hungry? Like, damn, I'd really like to eat this, or I'd like to eat that.
Right. I'm not necessarily feeling ravishly hungry. It's actually gotten to the point where I can't really tell when I'm hungry or not because of the burning sensation is just 24/7. But I have like cravings for fruit, like banana or like an acai bowl or some sort of fruit sounds really good to me.
What other food cravings or things is your body saying, oh, that would sound nice?
Let's see. Mangoes. Think about it. Mangoes sound amazing. Bananas.
Okay, so
I think just soft fruits, not dark berries, but more of like mangoes and bananas.
Okay, and likely, I'm gonna guess not citrus, like not full on citrus.
No, cool. Actually.
Okay, cool. So how is the burning feeling today compared to the previous days?
When I was eating food, it was bad. It would only get slightly better after food, and then it would just begin again. But right now, since I haven't eaten anything, it's become bearable. It's still there. It's still painful, but
Okay.
it's really not as bad.
Okay, so let's say the usual, you know, in between meals, let's call that 100% burn. Where would you say your burn is throughout the last 24 hours?
I would say like a 55%, maybe 60.
Okay, a little bit more than half. So these burns are, of course, not cool, right? So what I think would be great for yourself is if you have some water, just sip on it. Smart water, that's cool. I mean, you'll see people test smart water and it comes out more acidic on the pH side, but I believe that's fine. But when you have smart water, go ahead and squeeze a little bit of lemon into it, like a quarter of a lemon. You know, squeeze that into a big glass of water.
Okay.
and sip it throughout the day. There are, if you want to get into the like sciencey world, there are good minerals and elements that will go to the water as well, and the water will work together with that. Give this a shot for your water. So don't just have the water plain.
Okay.
Add some of the lemon to it, or even lime. Now, as far as food today, I'm going to say, this right here, there's so many choices, and especially with fruit. Don't put a ton of things in your stomach. Don't put a whole lot.
Okay.
But whatever fruit you do choose, get the ripest of that fruit, which kind of becomes a problem. You can't go to the chain Publix and expect the ripest fruit there. Your best bet is a grocery store that specifically caters and prides itself on having fresh produce. So here are some good options. Grapes, seeded grapes. If you can stomach those, but let most of the digestion happen in your mouth. Don't forget that. If you have a paper and pencil, write that down. Chew on something as long as you can. Let as much of that digestion happen in your mouth. And go for grapes.
Okay.
By the way, you do have a pen and stuff, right? So go for grapes. Mango, if you can get a really ripe mango, as in it doesn't look plump and juicy, but it looks great, but it looks perhaps like it's a little softer than you normally have it. Go for it.
Okay.
Also, bananas. Try to find bananas that have a lot of spots. In fact, the blacker the banana, the better. And don't listen to what a produce person tells you. I was at some place grabbing bananas, and the guy came up to me and he said, "Oh no, don't grab those. Those aren't good. They're blackened and blah, blah, blah." I said, "Oh, I'm going to grab these. I want these." And he said, "No, these black spots these are good, but these other black spots aren't good at all." And I was like, "Man, who told you this?" So I grabbed them and ate them anyways, and I thanked him for his concern. He was pretty concerned with me.
Oh, okay.
So get
All right.
get the blackest of bananas you can get, but keep in mind, they're definitely bad when liquid starts coming out of them. Or you'll know. Trust your body. Smell them. If they smell fermented, throw it away, but definitely get the darkest of bananas that you can find, which likely won't be that dark in a grocery store. But the good news is they'll sell them to you for much cheaper.
That's true, right.
And you'll help them get rid of that.
Okay.
So before these things like the grape or banana or mango, do you have a juicer?
I do have a juicer at home, but since I'm in college, no, I don't.
Oh, okay. So as far as the grapes, feel free to chew on them like mad and spit out the skin. Don't worry that you don't get all that fiber and etc. Think of your mouth as a juicer itself, a slow masticating motion juicer. Sure, you're spending the energy with your jaw, but at the same time, that juice goes into your body, and the juice very quickly goes to your blood. It's much like a blood transfusion, which sounds crazy. What do you mean this juice is a blood transfusion? When you think about the process of what the juice likely does in your body, goes almost straight to your bloodstream, right?
Right.
Cool. This will clean out your blood, etc. Now, some other things to help. If you really want some veggies or something, I would stay away from them completely. Go with those juicy fruits that are as ripe as possible. Juice them if you can, or find out whatever you can with the juicer. If not, just chew them, and the biggest highlight is let that juicing happen in your mouth. But don't be afraid to swallow it if you want to. I'm just letting you know, you can think about the energy being freed up in your digestion area. And last but not least, do not fear. Oh, as far as the water, make sure you squeeze some lemon to it, or lime, or in fact, infuse cucumbers into it. Cucumbers will be amazing for this. I mean, cucumbers are a juicy fruit. They are a melon.
Okay.
And there's so many more directions of things, like you could chew slowly on an herb that you really like, such as basil herb. Well, I mean, basil is just a quick example. The herbs that are growing in your yard, chances are a lot of them are edible, but don't go ahead and just eat them. There's, people spray pesticides, and some herbs are surprisingly toxic.
Okay.
The last thing I'd like to let you know is definitely don't fear continuing not to eat today.
Okay.
As someone, you're not very experienced with fasting, right?
Not really, no.
Okay. If the fear does get to you, or something does get to you, let that be fine. Remember, you want to feel good mentally, but also feel good. Feel good not eating. Your body does want to break. Animals in nature, they fast all the time, and millions of human beings on this earth fast all the time. So feel free to continue today not eating if you feel happy with that. If the fruits and etc. are not satisfying you and it's driving you nuts, instead of having some bread, here's something that will help you much, much more than bread will. Okay, so here's your fallback in case you can't stand it anymore. You ready?
Yeah.
A raw white potato. Not the whole potato, but let's say for some reason some acid comes up. A potato and bread and rice and those things, they're all glue, no matter how you look at it. You can create glue from them. In fact, bookbinding glue, it can be just from rice. It can be a combination of rice and potato. And that's what happens when these things heat up with your stomach or heat up.
Oh.
However, if you were to grab any of these gluey substances, I've personally used a raw potato many times in life in emergency situations. For example, I ate a big raw piece of garlic, like raw garlic clove, and this was years ago. I would never do this again. I would never eat a garlic. I would never eat it raw.
Okay.
I had a clove. I was experimenting. Had another clove, and I was having this intense burn in my area. Maybe it was my esophagus, stomach, something there. And I thought to myself, uh-oh, whoops, I had a bit much. So I fell back to what I had done in the past. As you know, I had ulcers in the past. So I grabbed a raw potato. Probably a total I had 3 or 4 bites, but I would take a bite out of it and I would chew it in my mouth as much as possible. I would just enjoy that chewing. I would meditate on it and swallow it. And within 10 minutes, 3 or 4 bites is how much I'd had. But within 10 minutes, the burn is completely gone for that over amount of garlic that I'd taken. And it's very refreshing when that happens. You think to yourself, oh, God, thank you, that is gone. This, of course, this isn't a perfect solution. There's waste products from that potato starch, and it's really not a good idea. It's pollution in general. However, personally, I feel confident that that's a much better choice of a raw potato versus some cooked rice, where a lot of the alkaline minerals are cooked out or changed, or even bread, where many of the alkaline materials are not only cooked out, but you have lots of this phytic acid that is just burning up your electrolytes and eating away and consuming these mineral elements that you desperately need.
Right. Okay. Raw potato.
Yeah, so think of the raw potato as the last result today if it gets bad. I really don't think it'll get too bad for you, because you're not having crazy withdrawal symptoms for foods, and it doesn't sound like you're having crazy like urges that are way too strong. And if that's the case, that's a good sign for your fast. That's a really good sign. It's a good sign that you're doing what your body wants.
Right. Yeah, I've felt those before, the crazy withdrawals and the intense burning when you're not even thinking, and it went straight to the wheat. Right
When
now,
did
I
you?
don't feel. Um, about a
Sorry, I cut
month.
you off.
No, it's all right. About a month ago, um, sometimes it would get really bad. Like I would restrict myself and I would just eat fruit, which could sustain me for a while. And then sometimes the burning would get really bad, and I would slip and have some bread, and then it would sort of deball itself, and it would get worse. And then I would self-medicate with the bread and keep going and going in this cycle until I would finally stop it again. But right now, for example, I don't have that intense urge of I want to eat. I'm okay with staying like this for a while.
Cool.
So I think, but if I do have that feeling of that calm feeling of okay, it's time to eat again, I think the ripe grapes and mangoes and bananas sound okay. It's not so terribly bad that I would take the raw potato advice at this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get those terrible, like evil sensations like, bro, you need this now,
Yeah.
chances are those are also coming from a not so pure source. But, we're human. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to go through these things, so we have the ability to ease it, or we also have the ability to slow down that detox. And we also have the ability to choose, you know what? I wanna feel it out, bring it on. But in general, yeah, I'm proud of you. You went those 24 hours with very minimal stuff. You had some tea, and it was chai tea?
Yeah, it was chai tea.
How bad was the burn when you had the chai tea? Like, was it over that 100% figure we came up to, or the same?
No, it was like about an 80, but it was definitely significant.
Okay. So I think by now you definitely understand what your body is trying to tell you.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
I'm listening now.
Cool. Well, that's good. Be in tune with your body. I'm sure many people want to help you and give you advices. And if other people are giving you advice, take in the love that they're giving you, so you get out of that physical healing worlds, because of course you have the emotional and energetic and thinking body, or all these other areas of healing. So as your parents or other people advise you, just absorb that love for that and just thank them and be lots of gratitude, and just know to yourself that, your body knows what's up. Listen to your body. Have a little bit of water. Don't go too crazy with the water, as water also may not be helpful, but sip on it, let yourself feel fine. Abstain from food if you can. These juices, these fruits sound amazing to you, so go ahead and have some of those, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
Pay a lot of attention to a burn feeling. I mean, you're already doing this, but still be careful with the juices too. Or be careful with the fruit. This is something definitely to write down as well. Write down not to snack on fruit throughout the day. That won't give your stomach a rest. If you choose to have fruit, have it maybe within the hour after we get off a talk, and as well have it as your last meal of the day.
Okay.
That way, the in-between time, you can give as much of the other parts of your digestion a break to to feel secure that, okay, energy is not going to be necessary for this digestion. Let's heal what we need to.
I see. Okay, so don't snack throughout the day constantly, so you're not taking away that energy that's needed.
Correct. When you snack throughout the day, it's like you never give your body a rest. You never give the digestive functions a rest. They're always doing something instead of doing maintenance. That's the idea.
Okay.
Cool. Hey, any other questions or any things you want to run by me with this to make sure you got an understanding?
Yeah, there is one other thing. So, I don't know if these things they correlate together, but I've always had a lot of digestive problems, and it sort of fluctuated a couple months ago, and that's what caused me to leave school, actually, up north and come back here. And a couple names have been thrown at me, like ulcerative colitis and celiac disease and certain things like that. But it seems like I don't know what foods are not good for my digestion, meaning I know that wheat is not. I know that any sort of starchy food is not. But sometimes I'll still have my digestive problems when I am eating fruit or eating vegetables. Yeah. But I have been a snacker. I've never really had that meal, so I would just eat fruit here and there, eat vegetables here and there, and meals scattered around. I would never really had a set.
Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So for one thing, let me mention to you in a quick minute about adults and diagnosis of diseases, and as well with fruits. Fruits harming your stomach, for example. Fruits, you want to make sure they're very ripe and as well fresh. And it's really hard to tell if a fruit is fresh or ripe. It's easy if you're experienced, but it's a bit hard if you're not somebody who just eats fruit. So find, how do you say this? You got to find the best source of fruit local to you. Okay. And I kind of chuckle because, Google is out there. You can find it. Find fresh fruit. Go to a farmer's market or even ask the produce manager. Say, hey, I'm having a hard time telling which of these. The manager, by the way, the produce manager, person who's been around it the most. Say, hey, I'm looking for the freshest stuff I can get, or the most ripe. A lot of times when they're not ripe, they don't help me out. And they may even say to you, oh, you know what? We have this box out back that we're about to throw out. It's really ripe. You would want to eat it tonight. And then there you go. That's like beautiful. So
okay.
Fruits that aren't ripe, they'll have more starch content and they'll be more acidic.
Okay.
Even fruits that aren't fresh, that same thing can happen. So next, when it comes to diagnosis of disease and etc., there's only one disease going on here. And there's a few different ways to call this one disease. Rather than saying that, I would just like to let you know that these symptoms are all from the same source. Let's call the source over-acidity, or let's call the source, this is your body's way dealing with your environment, everything. The ulcers are your body's way of dealing with these problems. So no matter what doctors or adults want to call this, the reality is their education did not come from their own observations, which there's far more information in your own observation than there is on one page of a book. There's far more information in your one observation, far more information than an entire book itself. So these doctors who've been indoctrinated, they are studying to remember things. Now, when you study to remember things for tests, or when you study things to have hands-on experience, etc. These are all different ways of learning. A lot of these doctors, they're learning incomplete information. They're not learning it organically. They're rote memorizing it, which is a way to program themselves to respond immediately to information. So they're at an extreme disadvantage. And I don't say this out of any disrespect. I'm only speaking about the negative consequence of their path. And the only negative part about that path is that the only negative part about that path is it's not always helpful, especially in a situation where you go to many doctors and each doctor is telling you it's something different and maybe it should be treated differently, or maybe let's do some tests. They want to do tests on you, and these tests on you are very unhealthy for your mental body. They're very unhealthy. You end up entertaining your anxiety. You entertain things that get you into more of a fight or flight response, which is good. It shuts down your digestion, but also it shuts down your body from maintaining and healing. Your body's putting more energy away from those subconscious functions. Your body is putting energy into your conscious functions because there might be a danger that you can consciously get yourself out of. And there is that danger that you can consciously get yourself out of. You can consciously get yourself out of it by acting to listen or acting to seek out an answer. And that's exactly what you've been doing. So your body has been functioning exactly as it is designed, and your body is functioning very well. Your body has given you many hints of what not to do and stuff in the stomach. But to boil this all down, you know you want fruits. You just have to learn how to get riper ones because we're living in a very unnatural world. There's nothing natural about a chimpanzee going to Publix and saying, "Hey guys, how much for this carton of bananas?"
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's good for me to share my experience with you that you can find riper alternatives and you'll be very, very happy with those riper alternatives. And to be aware of these uncertain doctors, because that's really what they are. They're uncertain. And the one who was certain would have been able to help you immediately. Or you would see results immediately, and then even the next day results, and then etc. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right, cool. Well, I'll text you a book to check out if you're looking to read materials that will be in alignment with what is helping you. It's a great book, very short read, written in the early 1900s by a man named Arnold Ehret. It's called The Mucusless Diet Healing System.
Okay.
It's good for people who like sciencey stuff, but the individual is looking to help people understand their physiology better and as well help them understand what it is that is best for them to eat. That's what this guy was searching for his life. So this is his way of sharing his input and his experiences. It's a short read, and I think you'll really like it.
Okay. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for talking with me as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. I do feel better, so I'm glad, and I'll let you know if I have that urge to eat. Right now, I'm okay. But
okay, you know what? That feeling better that you're feeling right now, go ahead and close your eyes and focus on that and be like, you're feeling better. Great. You know, hug yourself, like mentally. Isn't that just, that's a really beautiful thing, and hold on to that positive thought. Those positive things, that's going to communicate to your own body, telling it, look, things are fine, and get out of that fight or flight, and we can do this, we can heal. You know, remember that.
yeah, exactly.
Cool. I'm happy to help.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.